This is a special presentation of Fox 61 Sports Day. One-on-one with Dan Hurley. On Fox 61, here's your host, Fox 61 sports anchor Joe D'Ambrosio.
Welcome to our fourth and final monthly show with the head basketball coach at the University of Connecticut. Now, Wednesday's loss with SMU was difficult, but they have not turned the Worth Champion Center into an airplane hangar. We're doing the show from Signature Air Support because the coach is going out looking for new talent, perhaps a new host of the show after that remark. And boy, Wednesday night, again, single-digit loss, down 15. People are putting you up for dead except the guys on the bench in the national flag, blue and white. And you had chances down the stretch to make it all the way back.
Yeah, I mean, it was just thought we showed tremendous fight. And, to be where we're at and starting three freshmen and, to have some of the performances in the second half there, James again, helping lead us back, and Jalen Gaffney, had a tremendous second half of the game. And then Brendan Adams, continuing to, give us, really good minutes. But to go from 15, and then have three chances to either tie it or take the lead, three in the corner, free throws, and then the floater by James, just, kind of just signals to me how far we've gone since last year, but then, we still have a long way to go.
Right, and you use that as a benchmark because that game at Moody Coliseum last year was probably the low point of the season. And when you consider where you've come, there might have been several. But when you consider where you've come in a year with a relatively new team, it says a lot about what's going on here.
Yeah, it's you're just seeing like a tough-minded program that's developing. You're seeing like a culture and a character that's being formed in a team where, they're developing a determined mindset, a competitive mindset. And before you have everything that you need in terms of roster and in terms of familiarity, in terms of execution, you got to have that culture and that character in your program. And, we're really close to having that established the way we want.
Book has been terrific, 3 straight 20-point games. The old people like myself and Wayne Norman and Phil Shartis trying to figure it out. Probably go back to Rip Hamilton, to a freshman with 3 straight 20-point games. That's rarefied air type of company. And he does it in all sorts of ways at the offensive end.
Yeah, I mean, Book is a super talent and, just a really, really confident guy. And, now you're starting to see the element of his game that he really hadn't shown a lot up to this point, which is, the 3-point shooting. That was one of his strengths and one of the things we liked most about him. And, it's just taken him some time to adjust to the new line and, and to understand when he's open. But, he's the type of player that, in the near future will have an ability to, help lead us back.
And it seemed like he deferred to the older fellas a little bit earlier in the year. Now that he's got his feet wet, he's taking shots that he probably should have been taking all along.
Yeah, and I think he, we've been, we've made him earn everything along the way in terms of his development. We've made him earn his role. It wasn't given to him. He's had to work for it. He's made tremendous strides in terms of his maturity off the court, his professionalism on the court, how he takes care of his body, how he prepares for games, and that's why you're seeing this type of performance. And hopefully we'll get a couple more.
Jalen comes off his career high with 13. And I think sometimes some of us, you probably don't, and the coaches, forget that he got off to a slow start this year because of the injury. You wonder how much further along in his development he would have been if he could have played earlier in the year, and how much further along you'd be in the win column.
Yeah, I mean, he's a month behind, a month to 6 weeks behind with the ankle sprain. So, that was critical time that he lost. But you could see the different elements of his game. He could play either guard spot. He's got he's got a really nice perimeter shot. And he makes the game look easy. He doesn't try to do too much. And there's another layer of playmaking that he has in him. He's more dynamic than he showed. He showed that kind of steady side, but there is also a dynamic side that you'll see from him once he gets physically stronger.
Another guy who since the last time we did this, who's really progressed is an older guy, Isaiah Whaley. He's admitted he wasn't really sure what his role was last year, but he's come back, he's in better shape, and he's giving you depth at the center position that's been important because we've seen, and you've admitted this, and Josh has admitted this, at times it's been a struggle for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with Josh, not having the type of season that he would like, Isaiah's been, kind of on the other end of that spectrum, and he's maximized his value for us. Tremendous intangibles, glue guy, defends real well, and he stays within himself offensively, and he does the job as a guy off the bench in the role we put him in, which is just bring tons of energy and he's just kind of playing like his hair's on fire.
All right. Speaking of hair on fire, neither of us have hair, and we've got to take a break. So we'll come back. We'll talk about the game coming up with Memphis and a lot more. You're watching a one-on-one with Dan Hurley here on Fox 61.